you. Let's get this right now.
Okay, let's start this off. We're gonna start off with Judas Priest. What does this box set consist of? What do we already own from it, and what new stuff are we getting from it? So
Okay.
it's going to be released October. Let me just get the date here for everybody. It's going to be released in October, something or another, and there's 42 CDs. So Giles, you're the expert in all this, so I'm just going to let
Yeah.
you talk about this.
Hi guys, how you doing? Hi everyone. Hope Khalil's watching and Sammy and all that. How you doing? Judas Priest. Okay, what do we got? We got 42 discs. We got a very impressive looking box set. We have every studio album, including the Ripper years. So 10 points for including, the Ripper era and not ignoring it. That's great. But do we think in 42 discs, possibly the most extensive box set that I've ever seen, in an era where Jethro Tull are putting out 4 disc sets of every album and digging deep into the archives and coming up with like stuff no one's ever heard before? You think Priest could have found a couple of studio outtakes to include? What about the Stock Aitken Waterman outtakes from '88 that everyone's been screaming for, even if it's just from a curiosity factor at this point? What about them? What about other outtakes from the '80s? And they're there. I mean, they're on Wikipedia even. So do we even have, as part of the studio albums, the bonus tracks they added in 2001? The jury's still out on that. What I find disappointing is in 42 discs, we're getting one studio demo from Sad Wings of Destiny. Everything, all the other bonus stuff is just live. So we got about 4 live albums and then a double disc called Beyond Live and Rare, which is just live except for one studio track. This is the studio albums plus a live archive. That's what this is. There's no digging into the studio vaults and putting out tracks that no one's ever heard before. They did it in 2001 where they found about half a dozen studio tracks that were not used, but there is more. The Stock Aitken Waterman demos, put them out from '88. People want to hear them. We know it's definitely a stylistic departure for Priest at the time. Probably makes a step further even than Turbo as far as,
But let me toss this out at you. These are the live albums you're referring to. CD
Yeah.
30 to CD 42. So CD 30 has Live in Atlanta in 80. I'll just read out the years. Live album in 82, 79, 86, 88, 90, 81, 80, 91, and then a couple of, rare live
Yeah,
tracks.
it's all pretty impressive live stuff, but we're talking about songs that everybody knows. I think if you're going to throw down a couple of £100 or dollars or euros for a box set for 42 discs,
By the way, I think this is 400 to, I think 400 US, probably about 500 and something Canadian.
you're going to want, you'd expect to get sort of 10 to 15, 20 studio tracks maybe that no one's ever heard before. And they've got them. Every band's got them. But this is just kind of a ton of, official bootlegs, really. I mean, they're soundboards, I'm sure, and I'm sure they sound great. But I think they should have dug a little deeper than just live content. There should have been rare and unreleased studio content.
Stefan or Perrin, did you guys get a chance to see that extensive Judas Priest? What do you guys think? Like, to me, I personally think I would have liked a live box set. Like, I don't really rebuy all the albums I already have, except for the Ripper era. That I did like.
Yeah.
That was
I yeah.
the Ripper era.
I don't really care for the Ripper era, but again, the only thing that I find of interest for me are the live albums, providing they sound good. I remember the extra tracks on, can't remember if it was a Turbo.
It was Turbo and Defender of the Faith.
Yeah, they
those
had
two
good live tracks, but the Hellion, Electric Eye from the Summit in Houston, the sound does sound pretty good, but I do not like the idea of this being marketed as buy again all the studio albums without extra tracks just to get some interesting live recordings, because not all live recordings are interesting. Of course, I want to hear the 79, 80, and 81 live albums.
You know what? There's too little meat on the bone for the price tag, and people, anyone who's going to buy that kind of a box set's already got all the fucking studio albums anyway.
And I suspect that in 3 months they'll release the live album separately. Usually that's how it's said.
Probably, yeah. You can at least buy them on iTunes or something individually, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a nice package, but it does not. I mean, for a package, you want to show it on the shelf. You know, talk about it to all your friends coming to visit.
I don't have any friends, man.
Yeah, and that's why my friends don't listen to Judas Priest. So there's no incentive for me to buy it other than hope for a release of the live albums. The studio tracks, I got them all everywhere. I got them on vinyl, I got them on CD, I got them on streaming. I'm not going to buy them again just because this time they come in cardboard sleeves. No, I'm sorry.
They did that already once before anyway with the complete album box. So it's like their fifth box. There's like their fifth box set. So
Perrin, weigh in. Perrin, weigh in.
Well, look, let's face it. Priests are kind of, at the 90th percentile of their career, not the 99th percentile. Like, things are just about over. So I would think this is going to be the last big kind of box set release they're going to do. So if you're doing a 42-disc box set to the point the guys are making, and this is going to probably be your last opportunity to get whatever you want to get out there, you'd think there would be more meat on the bone, like Giles said.
Yeah.
And I personally think 42 discs is overkill. I don't even know if the biggest fan could digest that. I mean, if it were me, I might do, 4 boxes at 1 year intervals with maybe 10 discs each, and release one year and something a year and a half later, something a year and a half later. Make it like the Eddie's Head thing that Maiden did.
Well, I guess when 30 or so of the discs are the studio albums, I suppose that's sort of valid.
Yeah.
But I don't know, to buy 30 discs again to get a bunch of live albums, I mean, I would be first in line if they did kind of like, right, we are clearing out the vaults. This is damn near everything that's in a releasable condition, a releasable shape. We're putting it out. Like Jethro Tull are doing.
That's what it should be if it's this big set. And, but beyond that, I'll tell you the thing that bugs me the most. Why would you choose today? The eyes of the metal world are on Iron Maiden today. And I just feel it's again that for whatever reason, the Priest camp and the Maiden camp, and I feel like it comes more from the Priest camp, have this sibling rivalry. I don't know. And, the world, the metal world is all looking at Maiden today. So why would you want to do something on the same day that everyone's paying attention to Iron Maiden? Why would you not just do it next week or tomorrow, another day, where you can get all of the headlines in the metal press? Was this an attempt to maybe steal Maiden a little bit? Or, I mean, I don't know, but I just,
well, it was strategic. Forever. I mean, let's be obvious. This is the obvious. It's strategic. How about this? This box set also includes Ross Halfin photos signed by each member. Rob Halford, Glenn, Ian, Richie, and Scott. They leave out KK completely, like they're out of history. But I have to say, I'm like Stefan. I would have loved to have this box set of all these live discs. I thought that would have been really cool. And the Ripper years. I remember how they stopped producing the Ripper era albums. Well, here's an opportunity to buy them. The 2 live albums and the 2 studio albums.
You've got to buy everything else that goes with it together.
Yeah. That's. I mean, how many times? I don't need Firepower again. I mean, I got all these albums.
I actually have no problem with the repackaging of the studio records. To me, it's the lack of meaningful bonus content in a studio sense that would make me make that commitment again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there you have it. So everybody, tell us what you think about this, this upcoming release by Judas Priest coming out October. I'm going to get the date right this time. October 15th. Limited edition box set. And hopefully, Stefan, to your point, the box set will be limited, but maybe the pieces of it will be sold later. I'll be more interested in the pieces later on. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this. Let's get to this. Iron Maiden, guys. The
Yeah.
writing on the wall. This is after 6 years. Iron Maiden has released their first studio track. It was written by Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson, produced by Kevin Shirley, and co-produced by Maiden's bassist and founder, of course, Steve Harris, co-founder. Bruce Dickinson had this initial concept for a video which came to fruition with a collaboration with two award-winning former Pixar executive and long-standing Maiden fans, Mark Andrews and Andrew Gordon. So there is this animation video that's tied to this song. All right, Giles, first impressions, what did you think of this new Iron Maiden song?
I got to live with it a little bit. I mean, I'm the biggest Maiden fan around. If you're asking me, anyway. I like the song. Is it an absolute classic? No, but it's a very good song. Very, very good video. It kind of, again, the announcement kind of lacks that meat. There's that term again, meat on the bone. Okay, we got a new song. We haven't got a new album announcement. We don't have anything. We're none the wiser, really. We've got a new song, and we know what it's called. Okay. I think the record is still some time away. I think they're just going to work this new song into the Legacy of the Beast tour, work those two together, and I think the new album and the new album tour cycle is still some ways off. I like the song. I think it's good, and I think the video is excellent. So, yeah, always good. And props to Iron Maiden for making this release an event, you know, I mean, creatively making it an event, not just yet another press release and yet another single and it's coming out on this day and here it is. They really got the fan base excited.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And I really liked the way they did that. I thought it was really clever. Sometimes I wish I was that clever, but I'm not.
All right, I told everybody to rate this new song. So far, I'm getting 6 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Stefan, what did you think of the new Iron Maiden song?
I'm almost as big a fan of Giles, but
You're a fan of me?
I'm almost as big a fan as you.
Oh, as
Iron Maiden.
You're a fan of me. Okay.
That too.
Oh, good.
That too, if it wasn't for the reptilian part. But the fact is, you know, at 1 o'clock, it was during my lunch break at work, and I got this, you know, sound turned up, and I says, yes. The last time I felt that way, listening to a brand new Iron Maiden song, the last time I felt this way was in 1983. When Flight of Icarus came out, and I went,
I love that.
I hope the rest of the album is better, is what I'm saying.
I love Flight of Icarus. I like this.
Yeah, well,
song.
at the time it sucked because you hadn't heard The Trooper yet. You hadn't heard Where Eagles Dare yet. And I'm stupid because I don't like Flight of Icarus. But at the time, I did not.
Okay.
But
You
it's
just don't like Greek mythology.
It's the same feeling I have today. It's like, I hope this is not the best song of the album because it's
Never is with
generic.
them.
It's generic Maiden.
It never is with them. The single is sometimes like the least cool. I mean, usually you get Maiden album, and the album is like the single's just a quick and concise kind of track that sums it up, but the album is far more all-encompassing. You know, so I think you're safe there.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I certainly hope so because I was underwhelmed by the song. Now, about the video, that was interesting. I finally found the meaning of the four characters there. I read quickly the Bible part. Look, it's typical Maiden. It looked more like another episode of Mad Max from my perspective.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch, extremely well done. I emailed the video to my daughter who specializes into video special effects like this. Her jury is still out. I thought, looks great. It's obviously a personal project that Bruce feels strongly and he's very proud of. But the technology for the video is much more ahead than what, you know, you'll find much more ahead video than this. The package is nice, but I still consider it a major teaser for an album that I hope will be a lot more complete and a lot more impressive than that.
I watched the video. I couldn't follow the story. Maybe it's just me. Perrin, what'd you think?
Yeah. Well, first, so I'm. If anyone noticed, I'm in a hotel room, so I'm on the road for work. So I got back to my hotel about an hour ago, and I've listened to the song and watched the video 4 times in the last hour. So my brain is like firing on all cylinders. So, I'm seeing a lot of people giving a 1 on 10, a 4 on 10, saying it's awful. I don't think it's that. I see people giving it a 10 on 10, saying it's the greatest thing ever. I don't think it's that. I think it's in line with what Iron Maiden has done since the reunion of Brave New World. If anyone's waiting for them to put out Peace of Mind or Beast part 2, that's probably not going to happen. The song, I feel, has grown on me even in the last hour. The first time,
they say every hour the song gets better.
No, but the first time I listened to it, I might have been a little underwhelmed. Now I find myself, I have the kind of chorus going in my head, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Song working really well in a live setting. Like it's not going to be the song they open the show with, but I can see, just like Blood Brothers and Brave New World, like that. I can see this being kind of a sing along in the middle of the show. We all get into it. So I'm thinking that I'm liking the song, not in the way I fell in love with Rhyme with the Ancient Mariner the first time I heard it, but I think it's good, not great. Whereas I was blown away by the new Halloween when I heard it. I can't say I'm blown away, but it's almost sad to say I don't expect to be blown away by Iron Maiden in the 2000s era, which is a little bit sad, but that's the case. The funny thing is, it's a Bruce and Adrian song, but it sounds a lot to me like a Steve song.
I thought that as well, actually.
Yeah,
Steve can do better than that.
I kind of expect more from the Bruce and Adrian collaboration than I do from the Steve stuff. So maybe that disappointed me a little bit. And then when it comes to the videos, like, I generally don't like animated videos, but I have to say, I've watched the video a couple times, and each time I watched it, I picked up on something else. I too thought there was a, Mad Max, The Stand, post-apocalyptic vibe.
Oh, definitely.
I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to sell some pretty cool Eddie motorcycle Eddie t-shirts, Grim Reaper Eddie motorcycle t-shirts, that kind of thing. So every time I'm watching the video, I'm like, oh, Golden Gate Bridge in ruin. Okay, the guys march behind the cavalcade, or like the U.S. government, the British government, the Chinese government. The 4 words in the pentagram are death, war, plague, and famine. Obviously we're talking about a world that we've ruined. And if you notice the last scene in the video, the character in the front passes an apple back to these kind of Adam and Eve characters.
That's it. We're starting it all over again. Yeah.
There's biblical themes in there. So like I said, my brain is kind of firing on all cylinders. So credit to Maiden. They're making us think. They're making us work. I could see myself having to kind of listen to this and watch this 10 more times.
Yeah.
And they're not giving it all away, right?
Perrin, I'm going to stop you right there. This is the analogy I'm going to give. Rush, okay? When Rush went from moving pictures to Signals, there was the fan base was screaming bloody murder. And then after Signals, you had Grace Under Pressure. Everybody's, well, what are they doing? Can you guys do another 2112? Can you do another moving pictures? They never went back to what they started with. They always did what they wanted to do on their terms, what made them happy. And I think Maiden's the same way. We're going to appreciate these albums, the ones that everybody hates in the past few years, later on in life. Because they're doing what they want to do, because they don't want to do another Killers. They don't want to do another Murder of the Beast. They want to do what they want to do. They're like almost their 60s, right? I didn't like the production on this. I think Kevin Shirley has butchered another Maiden song or album, but I did like the song a lot. I liked the acoustic. I liked it was mid-paced. I thought it was thoughtful. I thought Bruce sang it. He sang the song. He was really singing the song. I thought it was really melodic, and I thought it was.
He was emoting quite a bit.
Well, I mean, you know, there wasn't that sort of repetition. Even though there was a repetition, it wasn't as prominent. He was actually really singing the song. He just sounded muffled. And that's a production problem more so than a singing problem. But I did like a mid-paced. I mean, I thought it was Bon Jovi Dead or Alive at first. You know, with the slide guitar sound.
Yeah.
Right?
But for me, it was Stephen Kingish. Like, if you've seen the movie The Stand.
Yeah, I did.
When
Randy you're right.
appears, you have these little acoustic interludes. Like, even if you've ever heard the intro to Sons of Anarchy, the TV show, I felt it was a little bit like that. Like, so, yeah.
Giles, what did you think of the singing, Giles? You're a singer. What did you think of the vocal?
Good. Yeah, I think Bruce's voice is aging really, really nicely. Really, really well. I like it a lot. Again, I'm not. It's funny. I'm in this position. I've been told by people who care about me and respect me and all those things that I never thought would happen, that I'm a professional, I'm a known person in this industry, and I should therefore watch what I say about people and only say nice things because it's good for business. But I've never been a Kevin Shirley fan. You know, let's just leave it at that. I just, I mean, when you listen to, like, what was that last Sabbath thing they did with Dio? Heaven and Hell, the Devil You Know. That sounds awesome. You put Final Frontier on next to that, and it just sounds thin. You got 3 guitars, and you can't hear any of them. Again, I love the songs, I love the band. It's just my opinion, but I've never been crazy about Kevin, to be honest. So, if I'm allowed to, in this ultra PC world where everyone's getting upset.
Well, I can't stand Kevin Shirley. I'll say it right now.
If I'm allowed to have an opinion as well as work in this business, that's what I'll say.
We miss Martin Birch.
Yeah,
we sure do. We sure do.
And I agree, guys. And I would just say, obviously, we can't take Martin Birch back, but I think they've worked with Kevin Shirley for over 20 years now, and I think we've had enough of the Kevin Shirley era. And some of us didn't like it at all, and some of us might like bits and pieces. I think it would be interesting at this point for them to work with someone else. And I know Steve likes his yes men and he likes to be in his comfort zone, but I really wish that they would work with somebody different just to see what the end result would be.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It would be interesting, at least, I actually thought the British Lion album, the last British Lion album, The Burning, that sounded really good. I think that was Steve Newton. I'd like to hear him as a guy.
Tony Newton produced
Tony Newton.
The Night of the Dead. Just the
really
live
good.
album. He produced the live album, and I thought maybe this was going to be a transition from Kevin Shirley using Tony Newton a bit more.
I thought he did a great job on the British Lion album. Really good. So I was hopeful as well.
I think there's a little bit of that, like, to me, you could tell it's an Adrian Smith song because it's a great solo. There's actually 2 solos, and the second one is, you could tell that's Adrian Smith, very melodic. I
called Paul Diano today. I had a chat with him. He's doing all right. Yeah, I love Paul. Yeah, I called him today, and he's doing all right.
Yeah. He's
what does he think of the song?
Yeah, you don't want to know that. You don't want to.
I don't think he cares, but I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. I can't speak for him. But I called him at lunchtime. It was well before the song came out. We didn't even talk about Iron Maiden. So
good.
I love him, man. What a good guy.
Me too. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
And everybody, tell us what you think of this new song. Did you like it? Rate out of 10. This is getting mixed reviews. People are saying they really like it, like an 8, and then you're getting a lot of 4s and 2s and 1s.
Bruce loves that polarizing thing, so he'll be happy.
I'm more of the Rush camp, where let the artists do what they want to do.
Let them do what they want to do. I mean, as long as I would have liked to have slapped Dokken when they did Shadow Life, but other than that, I'm pretty much on board with bands experimenting and doing different things, and I like it. A lot of those albums that people don't like,
this isn't that big of a left turn, right? I mean, I think this is pretty much the line.
It's not at all. It's very maiden-y. It's very maiden-y. So yeah, no, it's really good.
And you do have that twin guitar, those harmonies, in
the
song.
I mean, one of those songs that's going to be. I remember when El Dorado came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, what's that?" I love that song, and live,
love that song too.
Live, it sounds like Barracuda, but live, it just came into its own so much. I love that song.
This is going to be a long live. This is going to be a good live, I think.
It will be.
All
right,
right, everybody. There's
like
way too many
the-
comments, out there for me to read, and I apologize for that. Solos are very good. It's okay. I'm good with it, but I probably won't play it again. I love Maiden, but I want an up-tempo melodic song. Simple, predictable, boring intro. I never expect another Aces High. 2 formula, get rid of Kevin, and don't let Steve near the production side. I blame Lynch for Shadow Life. Solos are always great, but the riff sounds boring. I can't wait for KK's album to come out next month.
You guys need to tune in on the 23rd.
What's the
and
23rd?
listen to the 23rd is the new Alcatraz, the real Alcatraz, with Doogie White on vocals.
Yes.
The new song "Sword of Deliverance." I think you guys that like that early '80s and mid '80s Iron Maiden are gonna really like this song. So check that out. Alcatraz, "Sword of Deliverance."
Yes, Stefan.
Giles is quite the salesman. I'll give him that.
Well,
He's not interested in the business side. He's just a big fan of Alcatraz, and I respect that.
I have no investment in it.
All right, Matthew Lee. I thought it was interesting that Metal Allegiance also made their official announcement today. Metal Allegiance made an announcement today? Did they?
Yeah, well, after Maiden and Priest, I'm pretty sure nobody noticed. So
then Udo comes out with a new song.
I went out and got sushi. I didn't care after the Maiden thing.
Like, who the hell is advising? Who's the PR firm advising these bands?
You know what? Every band should have just taken a long lunch break today. It's just
today was a big day in metal, and thank you guys for jumping on. All right, everybody, thank you so much.